Proceed.
Thank you, Chair. I move to 7.3 on unsupported expenditure. And Chair, we have we've made reference to Appendix 7.3, which is variation number 8, indicating the provisional sum. And Chair, I invite you to look at Appendix 7.3.
Maybe just when you look at colleagues, when you look at the annexure, is 21 million expended, or what are you trying to reflect? Is it confirming that you've expended the 21 million?
Yeah, it is confirming that the 21 million was actually expended. It was actually part of the valuation of the works done.
But in your submission, colleagues, you've heard what they've said. So when we come back, I expect colleagues you interrogate, because in the submission they've not expended. In the schedule, you've expended. So let's move on.
There is reference. Chair, the next reference on 7.3 is extract of payment voucher for Vajiani.
Which one is that?
Chair, there is a document indicated Ministry of Transport and Infrastructure. Just after that document, 7.0, the same. Okay. 7.3.
Yes, yes.
After the document for the Ministry of Transport and Infrastructure, there is another document, Vajiani Republic of Kenya payment voucher to Vajiani Enterprises Limited. Chairman,
I'm not with you.
Oh, sorry.
I'm not with you.
After this document, from where we were,
Yes.
you'll see a document written Ministry of Transport.
Correct.
Then after that document, don't give. For now, don't look at that document.
The voucher.
There's a voucher.
Correct.
And here I wish to draw your attention, Chairman, to page 2 of that voucher. Down there is a 16 million highlighted in yellow.
Yes.
Yeah. Interest on delayed payments, 16 million highlighted in yellow. That is the payment that was made. It was revised. We had, in our narrative, we had indicated that the amount of 21 million was revised downwards to 16 million. This 16 million is actually what was paid to the contractor for delayed payment.
But on your schedule, that's why I had asked you. On the schedule which you showed, it was expended. So maybe when we open the floor, we'll now discuss. You take us through so that we don't lose the track.
Chairman, the next attachment is Variation number 12, indicating
mixture.
Yeah, Chairman, the next attachment is the contract between ourselves and Vajiani contractors. And Chair, what I wish to draw your attention to is page number 33 of that attachment. And there is a highlighted clause there that interest shall be calculated on the basis of number of days delayed at a rate of 3 percentage points above the Central Bank of Kenya's average rate for base rating prevailing as of the first day of the payment, the first day the payment becomes overdue. That becomes the basis on which the interest was being paid. Chairman, I draw your attention to the next appendix on the same 7.3. We have a schedule of interest on delayed payments. There is a document titled Interest on Delayed Payment.
Still on 7.
Then, after the document that we are looking at, there is another document which has this ribbon, and it is titled Interest on Delayed Payments, Vajiani.
On the same document?
On the same document, the same here.
So the same document, you are indicating like the entire 21 million
Yes.
matured.
And not exactly. This was what was initially calculated by the QS.
Or this is by the QS?
By the QS. But when it came to payment, no, sorry, this was what was demanded by Vajiani, sorry. This was what demanded by Vajiani, but when the QS looked at it, it was moderated to 16 million. What was due and what was paid to Vajiani was 16 million.
So I want an opinion of the auditors to confirm. Maybe as we open the floor, we need to look at the workings between the two. Maybe we'll also want to hear your voice on this. Why did the client ask for more and he was paid less? Yet the contract was very clear on how it was supposed to be paid. Please proceed.
On the same 7.3, Honorable Chair, we have a variation number 12. Variation number 12, which indicates the farmed up amounts and the breakdown of the costs.
Where is it?
There is a document titled Ministry of Transport, Infrastructure, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development.
The one dated 17th May?
Yes.
Yeah. My colleagues seem to be struggling. Are we together? Allow me time we take Mheshimiwa Wanyonyi. We are there? Okay. Please proceed.
And this, we make reference to certificate number 12, where the amounts being queried by the auditor, where the payments were made. The certificate through which the payments were made.
The figures are not clear. The copy is not clear, ready for maybe colleagues. You have, how is yours? Mine is very faint for this amount behind. The one, yes, that one. What, how do you read the amount? Kenya shilling, 65 million.
Yeah, this is 65,804,365 Kenya shillings only. $365 only. Thank you for the correction, Chair. So, Chair, that is the end of the appendixes that we submitted to support query number 7.
I just have an issue on that you did not submit any documentation on land. You just concurred that you concurred and said you are promising to give that you are doing some catastrophe or it's called
Cadastral survey.
Cadastral survey, but there is nothing to concur to that effect. Any documentation, CEO, to that effect? When you look at 7.1 unsupported land, there is no documentation still, which ourselves can rely on to make a report.
Chair, our sincere apologies. That's an omission, which we can correct by submitting the documents.
I want to hear from the auditors what documentation would you precisely want on that issue of land?
Oh, it doesn't know. Technology.
Yeah, we are challenged.
This one is close. Chair, for land, definitely the only document is the title deed. The client. Any document that would show the progress, because I think what they are showing is they're trying to show they are making progress. So documentation to that effect, the cadastro, and any other documentation which should show progress. But the final that will satisfy the auditor is when the title deeds shall be in place. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, colleagues. We want to allow our two members who joined us when we were in the midst of intervention to put their voices on the Hansard, especially the one looking at me straight.
I was looking at you because you didn't do that in the first place. Chair, sorry, I'm coming all the way from Kitale, so that's why I'm late. But my name is Ferdinand Kevin Wanyonyi. I'm a member of Parliament, Kwanza, Trans Nzoia County, and a member of this committee. Apology for coming late, Chair.
I'm Peter Francis Masara, representing the great people of Suna West, member of this committee.
I want to suggest you proceed because you only did 7 and we have issues up to 10. So you can proceed number 8, number 9 and number 10 so that we open the floor for discussion.
Thank you. Chair, I think before you proceed for the titles, in the additional submissions, we have submitted title for Kisumu and Meru, which were the ones in question in the additional submission that we were submitting after the last engagement.
Proceed.
Thank you. Sorry, Chair, this 7.4. If you allow me, I can read your guidance.
Yes. Proceed with 7.4.
Yeah, Chair, I'm guided. Chair, I invite you to look at 7.4 of the file on appendices. And for the query on 3.581 million on the unsupported buildings, we have attached a practical completion certificate from Dama Services, who are the consultants for those small works then. Chair, we have also attached the contract between ourselves and Dama Services, the consultant. Chair, I submit. If you allow me, I can move to number 8.
May I confirm those of my colleagues who have done construction? Does the contractor himself give himself the completion certificate?
Yes.
So who is Dama Services?
Dama Services is a consultant who actually does what the Ministry of Public Works would have done, supervision of the project.
Okay, so colleagues, we will interrogate when we come back. That's a challenge which you need to find out also. Please proceed.
Chair, I move to Appendix 8. Appendix 8, Chair, it was on the issue of the unsupported payments received in advance, amounting to 221,483,033. $483,033 and 28 cents. And Chair, what I would wish to bring at this point is that out of that amount, 13,346,688 and 46 cents has been utilized, so they are no longer payments received in advance. I submit, Chair.
Now, I'll take you to colleagues, find out. You see, this is a list from Kemsa, but when you look at the document, it has no authenticity to confirm like it's from Kemsa. So you'll have to confirm also that this is your document when we open up the floor, so that we firm it up.
I'm guided, Chair.
Let's proceed.
Chair, for query number 9, I wish also to draw your attention to the Appendix 9. And the very first appendix is our financial statements for one of the projects that you are handling at that time. That is the Kemsa, the KHSSP, Kemsa Health Sector Support Project. And what is of concern here is the last page of the attachment, which shows the project account and how the 216 million was accounted for.
The Excel one, the Excel sheet.
The Excel sheet. Chair, maybe just to take you back very true. On the same document, the financial statements, and I'm sorry it's not paginated, there is a page referenced statement of financial position. There's a page reference statement of financial position. And my apologies once again, it's not paginated.
The main document?
Yes, the document you are looking at.
Yes.
We have the 911, which the auditor was querying. And then we have an extract of the main Kemsa accounts where the 216 was accounted for. The worksheet that we are looking at earlier.
Then there is an imported figure of 29 million, which is showing like receivables from Kemsa. Where is the schedule for that?
Apologies, Chair, because it was not queried, we have not provided a schedule, but that can always be provided.
No, but the auditor has listed the 4 or 5 in the query, and the makeup in your submission you've given us, you've imported the 29 million, so definitely you have to justify the 29, so that you are coming up with the 4 or 5 million down there.
I submit, if you allow me, I can move to...
Colleagues, if there is anyone with a query on those annexures, let's go to the last one.
Chair, there is the unsupported, the query on the unsupported medical commodity fund. And Chair, the annexes are Appendix 10. And Chair, what we have provided is we have explained that the medical commodity fund is composed of the third-party stocks and the cash and cash equivalents held on behalf of strategic partners. What you have attached is the first page is the value of the commodities that we're holding at that time, amounting to 7,390,181,509.07. And Chair, the next page is the cash balances for the third-party partners, third-party strategic partners, which was amounting to 16,906,736.93. I submit, Chair.
When you say cash balances, what do you mean? This is the...
Chair, the strategic partners give us money. We are waiting for us to do some work so that we can utilize the money, we can own the money or pay certain price.
Okay, and this is the dry stock?
These are the stocks and the warehouses.
This is the dry stock available?
Exactly.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
Colleagues, I think we've now been taken through the annexures. We have the queries with you. I want to open the floor. I can see what Chief is ready.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, DG. I think your responses within the time you've been there is quite amazing, and I want to congratulate you for that. Chair, I have one comment and 2 questions. Number 1, DG and team, when things like cannot be verified, unsupported expenditure, unsupported projects, some touching World Bank, notifications unaccounted for, cannot be verified, cannot be confirmed, no non-compliance. All these words, when it comes from the audit to the OG, the office of the AG, who are mandated by law to verify your books, then it points to one thing: internal control and documentation, which are prime pillars of management. I want you to reflect on that. And Chair, let me thank them for saying we have observed, we have acknowledged the auditor. That is good. But I want you to internalize that. If those comes from your organization, then it points that. And this is an organization that also have our donor partners. And this audit report are public documents. And that can be a repellent even to them. That's a comment I want to give. But I'm surprised that Kemsa, he came from far, from medical stores when I was still in the ministry, and then enacted in 2013, and now has not even acquired these assets. The asset I want to zero in is to one, the land. Because it's basic principle. When you want to buy a land, you do the survey, the beaconing, and all this, which you are now doing in 2023. So my question is, was this lands all over the country acquired anyhow, or were they purchased? Because if they were purchased, then we would like to see when were they purchased, and why were these basic things not done by then? If they were acquired, it's another ball game. Conveyance expert, I don't know, were they outsourced? Is there any expenditure to them which we can lump up on this land issue, which is also eating the money from the organization or their pro bono guys? Or who are they? Who are they? Now the last question is about the warehousing, the rehabs and all those which have been listed in the appendixes. I'm surprised when a delayed payment can accrue 21.6 million. The question, why delay? All these were procured. You had the BQ, and you know when the project was to end, when to pay it. But I saw it here that interest accrued from delayed payment is amounting, Chair, to 21. And I just want to bring your attention, because you are still is until we do the amendments on the social health bill. You are the pillar of UHC, and you still remain because of the commodity supply. And when all these are coming up, how do we justify Kemsa to remain that pillar? That's my concern as a health person. Thank you, Chair.
Also, we guide that in the interest of responding to the queries, let us be very systematic so that we all concur that 7.1 is disposed of, 7.2, so that we move together until we finish number 10. Otherwise, some of us might not be at the speed Mheshimiwa Ward Chief is on top of it, and we might end up missing. But respond to Mheshimiwa Ward Chief, then we regularize, so that we begin from 7.1, we go upwards. Meanwhile, Bwana CEO, you did not attach also the motor vehicles in 7.2. The logbooks are not attached also. You've mentioned them in your submission, but in the annexures, I cannot see them. So maybe you can make a comment. Respond to the question by Ward Chief, then we regularize the movement.
Chair, I want to appreciate the honourable member for appreciating that despite that we take responsibility for the organization, there are many things that have happened that we have to respond to, that happened at a time that this administration and most of my managers were not in office. Of course, we take office and that there has been some laxity in terms of responding to audit issues in the past. And Chair, we are committed as a management to ensure that going forward, we will ensure that we respond to audits and avail information to auditors as they undertake the audit. This is consistent with the government's agenda on zero fault audit from the previous financial year going forward. But even without the government directive, we recognize that it's important to have these issues. I have sat down with the team and we have dedicated quite some time even to come up with responses for the issues that we are responding to. As a general response to this, we have sat not once, not twice, but several days going through item by item, line by line, to get the information, because sometimes why audit issues are not responded to most of the time is the failure of the leadership in the management to take audit as serious as it should be. And from where I sit, we commit to do that going forward. Then, Chair, on the issue of land, most of the land, Chair, that is under in question was acquired through allotment from the various counties, and also as part of the property that was given to us by the Ministry of Health, and now counties, because most of our properties are in counties, were in former provincial hospitals and now county assets, and therefore was more of allotment than purchase, except the Embakasi land which was purchased. Chair, we have attached, I think in Schedule 7, most of the land actually has now titled, and what was remaining was the cadastral survey that we're talking about is for purposes of valuation of the land, because we have a lease title, I think in some of those, but did not have the cadastral surveys to facilitate us to have value for the land. And
so you said most of the land is titled. You have the title?
Yes, most of the time.
Where are the titles?
We can avail copies of the titles. I think if you look at the number 7, Annex 7.
Which 7?
Appendix 7.
There are many 7s.
7.1.
7.1.
7.1. You will recognize in the report the land in Nairobi has a lease title that is pending NLC approval. That is the main headquarter. Then we have the Meru land that has a certificate of title. The Isiolo land has a certificate of title. The Mombasa land is has an allotment letter. That's one of the land that we are following up for titling. Then the Embakasi Supply Chain Center. This Nairobi main headquarter land is a renewal of lease, which was granted, Chair, in the last 1 or 2 months. The number 1. Then this is the main land, which is what we purchased in Embakasi as a certificate of title. Then the green site, which is just next to that one, also a certificate. Kakamega land has a lease title. Nyeri Depot has a lease title as well. Kisumu has a lease title. As an allotment. Then Kisumu now has title, but in the name of National Treasury. I think I apologize, that is misrepresented, the allotment is misrepresented. Then Eldoret land has a lease title.
Point of order, Chair.
Yes, Mheshimiwa.
I think it will be in order, Chair, if at all the acting CEO could be leading towards this with the proper documentation of the same. But now, as you tell us that it has a title, allotment, we cannot authenticate if whatever you are talking about is the true picture of the current status. Therefore, we may say this is null and void until when the production of the copies of the CD document is provided to the committee.
Chair, just a point of also information. When land is registered under National Treasury, that is your land. Because most lands, actually by law, should be held by the Treasury. So there's no issue about that. But as well, let me comment on something. The survey does not give you a value of land. So you cannot tell us that because of the whatever survey being done, you need the value of land. That's incorrect. It should be punched out of our records. The value of land is done by government valuers, and they give our figures. Their process is not part of our work. Our work is their report. How they do it is their work. So that report you are giving us is misleading. Chair, also, I came late, but I'm able to go through. When you are giving report on bank balances, you don't write to us. You give us the bank statement or certified certificates. That's when it becomes a document of Parliament. So most of these responses, Chair, from the picked 3 items, they are truly misleading, especially when it comes to Kemsa. Kemsa, we need authenticated document to be submitted to Parliament, not things typed and submitted. Because for sure, for example, when you are telling us that it has certificate of title, where is it? And then certificate of title cannot be LR number 11514. It should be, it indicates the location, when it become authentic. If it is a Bakazi 1 is 2144 is where, but 1511514 can be even for Nairobi or Mombasa or anywhere. There must be a figure, a number talking of, for example, in my area, there is Suna West, Suna East, 211, then you are given a figure. So in the map, it will show you the map number, where that things come from is when the number applies. But just arbitrary numbers like these are too misleading, Chair. So don't admit such documents when we are talking about audit queries.
I want you to point out that document, Mheshimiwa, so that we expunge our document as we go by.
That one, the few I've gone through is the Appendix 7.1.1.
Which is touching on the issue
the
of...
titles. That is these are just narrations.
Yes.
There are no attachments. And even the narrations are incomplete.
So we want to expunge Appendix 1. And not just that being the ground, Mheshimiwa, this committee cannot confirm a title. The only body that can confirm a title is the auditors. So now that the auditors have said they have not seen the title, that was their query, that the documents, look at the question. The query says, which includes various parcels of land spread across the country, all valued at this, whose ownership documents were not availed. That was the question. But still to the committee, you will not avail the ownership documents. So, Mheshimiwa, in addition to your submission, we also feel the auditors need to verify that the title presented to them is the title. That's the position of the auditors.
Yes,
so
and then too, you asked me the medical commodity fund. They have given us a good list, but eventually on the balances as at 30th June 2019, they are just narration. There's no documentation from the bank showing these were the balances. And I'm sure the CEO is aware of that. And whatever you submitted to the auditors, I hope auditors, you did not approve this. Something must be attached from the authorizing body. For example, if it is cooperative bank, we have now document from cooperative bank showing us this was the balance, this is the balance from him. How can we accept that? Am I right, Auditor?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So, colleagues, as your chair, I want to get one document out after the other, so that the auditor, the witness will be able to submit the right documents after that.
But Chair, there is also option.
Yes.
Usually there is option.
Yes.
If they can provide those certificates, then you give them time to provide instead of removing them. If you can commit to provide. For example, on the issues documentation of land, if you can give him a number of days, because their document he has in the office, if they can provide. So at the end of the meeting, it will be on the answer that they committed to provide. That one is acceptable, so that we can move on.
That's where I was
And
going.
then for future references, they must know that you must provide those things. You don't give us narration. This is not a literature class. This is an audit committee. Yeah, that's true.
Chair,
Mheshimiwa Maua.
Chair, I support my colleague, but my question and what I'm really wondering is, when you look at the issue that has been raised by the auditor, is that they were not provided. And Chair, all the time auditors complete whatever they are doing, there's usually the exit meeting. Meaning these are documents that they tried to request to be provided and they were never provided. And that is why what you see here is just mere narrations, and that is why we do not have the copies. So as much as we agree that we're going to give them time to provide this document, I still wonder where they will get the documents from. Because if the auditors were there and they requested for them, and they were never availed, and you see even here, it is just a mere narration. I'm still wondering where they will get the document from. So I tend to think, my colleague, you have really said it well, because we cannot keep on waiting for Kemsa. The provision is not done, but when it comes to the literature that you're giving, it is so good to convince somebody that the documentations are available, which doesn't seem to be the true picture.
I want to invite the CEO on the same issue of land to your predecessor submission to this House on the issue of land. This document you have submitted to us was submitted similarly, similar document in a similar shape. Number two, in your submission, which we gave our reporters, PIC 19th report, your predecessor also mentioned that a conveyance expert to handle the issue of realization of title deeds with the specified time had been procured. Similar explanation you are putting to us today. My question is, for how long have you paid this conveyance expert without him delivering what he's supposed to deliver? And when did you procure this conveyance expert?
Chair, first my apologies that we did not provide the titles, but like I had said in the supplementary submissions that you had asked for, we submitted the titles for the two lands that were in question, but we can provide the titles that I apologize for not submitting the titles and the leases that are mentioned in the report that we have submitted. Of course, Chair, the conveyance expert that we have engaged is paid on acquisition of titles. So he's only paid once he is able to acquire title for land. And I think, Chair, because we have not submitted in my report, like has been rightly said, is a narration and have not given the evidence. I think, Chair, if you give us time, we can be able to submit the list titles and the titles for certificates of titles for the land that are in question to the committee.
That's not a bad request, but we'll deliberate on it as we go to the end of the session. Mheshimiwa Joshua and then Mheshimiwa Bishop.
He has not committed on the issue of certificates, of bank certificates. We lose it.
Yes, you committed on title. Mheshimiwa wants to hear you commit on the certificates together with the bank statements.
Chair, my finance director is here, and I'm sure we should be able to provide director commit.
Chair, I commit. The certificates are there. We will submit them.
And the statement?
Statements also are there.
And let those statements be certified. Get the statements, certify them, then you get them to us. You have an issue again?
No, Chair, just for information, for you to get a certificate, it is satisfied. That's why it's called a certificate. So let nobody give you a certificate which is satisfied now. By the time they are being acquired, for them to leave the counter of cooperative bank, they must be satisfied. Is when they qualify to be called certificates.
So you want that one?
Yes.
Correct. Now he has heard. You have?
That is exactly what we have. What was certified
Yes.
then.
Yes.
It is still in our records, yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mheshimiwa Joshua?
Chair, thank you. What I wanted to add on that is that when I see you and your team, I think we hear your request that you bring those documents back to us. And because it's not your first time to appear in this committee, let's not keep on all the time asking for such documentation. I want it to be packaged so that when you are coming to this committee, you come with those documents, because according to me, when you see the question of the auditor and what you brought, it's quite different, because they requested for the title deeds and you just write to us. So I think you need to be packaged, because I don't expect us to come and give you another time for other documents. And
I concur with what Chief on the observation he made, that from the queries raised by the Auditor General, much of it is about administrative activity. And that do you have any gaps in the management that deals with the operationalization of the decision made by the board, or the execution of your day-to-day demands given to you by institutions such as government, Bunge. For example, the chairman has raised a very interesting dimension on your presentation. I don't know whether you noticed that it is indicting the presentation of Kemsa, that you are bringing generic documents, that it appeared in another committee of the same house, produced again with the same language, nothing updated. It creates some doubt. And I thought you would have spoken to that when the chair had raised it, because it rests in our minds. Are we dealing with just public relations exercise, or we are actually dealing with a process that will yield results? And I think the comments that, as we listen to the presentation by the Auditor General, their concluding comments are things that can be done. So do you have any problem in the capacity of administrative and operationalization of your decisions and demands by the Auditor General? One of my colleagues put it clearly that Auditor deals with you not as an event but a process, some of which provides an opportunity for you to fill in the gaps. What is the problem in terms of management? Team, same can still affect.
Two issues by Mheshimiwa Joshua and Mheshimiwa Bishop, so that we move to the next one.
Chair, I think I will start by saying that Kemsa's challenges are well known in this republic. Of course, Chair, we have had a high turnover, especially the last 3 years, of both corporate governance in terms of boards, in terms of CEOs. I think in the last 5 years, we have had 6 years, we have had 7. June, May, when I joined the organization, all these managers seated here were working from home with another caretaker team that was from other government agencies running the organization. So Chair, has been 3 months of a new board, new management,